apparently secured a deal to build a massive golf course as part of a $5.5 billion development in Qatar. And it's a big project. It's gonna be a ton of money, and his organization, the Trump organization, is going to be making that money. Now, in Donald Trump's defense, he didn't even do the thing he did in his first term where he pretended he wouldn't do foreign deals or whatever. He knows that there's no reason to limit himself in that way now, and so he's gonna make potentially hundreds of millions, maybe even more on this, as the first of what could be multiple projects across the region. And this is just the most high profile and new bit of petty little personal corruption that he's been doing. We have a lot of others that I wanna remind you of. But first, Cenk, I know you've mentioned this particular golf course project.
Yeah, so the Saudis have been funneling the Trump family money for a long time. Jared Kushner got the $2 billion. You got I felt alone in the golf course thing. I'm like, is no one seeing that this whole live golf thing is about making sure that they play on Trump's golf courses and funneling a huge amount of money to Trump? Is everybody missing that? Well, if you were missing that, you're not gonna miss the $5.5 billion that are getting funneled to him here. And then I wanna talk a little bit later about why might they be doing this? What is it that they really, really want out of Trump? That's very important. But first, let's talk about the record-breaking corruption.
I think they just appreciate his style. He knows how to set up a golf course, amazing, immaculate landscaping.
They're also big fans of golden palaces.
Gold, billions of dollars. Remember when the right was like, I think Hunter Biden got $5 million and they couldn't prove it, but they said that would be reason enough to go Biden. This is billions of dollars. Comer, you gonna comment on it? Not so much. But anyway, that's the most recent one. Bear in mind, maybe the single most corrupt enterprise that has ever existed in America before would be Trump's crypto venture, because of the ability to funnel domestically or internationally literally untraceable billions of dollars to Donald Trump for him to profit from. Well, he has already raised more than $550 million by selling tokens to buyers around the world, which is great because he hands over a token, which is nothing, it's meaningless, and he gets over $500 million from that. It's amazing, he doesn't even have to build a building or anything. There was an investigation by the New York Times that found that World Liberty Financial, that's his crypto platform, solicited secret multi-million-dollar payments from other crypto startups as well, offering cross-promotion and perceived proximity to Donald Trump. So they handed over millions of dollars to influence the president. Now, one would typically think of that as being the sort of thing you do under the American structure of legalized bribery, of donations to his campaign. This is just directly money to him. And I don't understand how any of that's legal. I keep saying that, I keep bringing this up, and it's legal. You can just give Donald Trump millions and millions and millions of dollars, and it's nothing. I don't understand what campaign finance restrictions are for. If AOC wants to do a corruption, why would you cut her campaign a check and possibly end up in jail? Just have her release a meme coin and then give her $100 million.
Yeah, it's
it sounds like I'm asking a rhetorical question. I literally have never gotten an answer as to how any of this is legal.
Look, that's why I think he's gonna get caught. That's our poll on tyt.com for the whole show on every topic. Is Trump gonna get caught? Because, look, if the economy is booming and people are generally happy, he's not gonna get caught. He didn't get caught last time because the economy was relatively okay. Why did I think he didn't screw it up in the first 3 years of his administration? He screwed up 1,000 things, but not the economy, to be fair, right? And so it's because he had the establishment as the brakes in the car. So they would just say, okay, oh no, we're not gonna do that. That's really, you're an idiot. No, we're not doing that, right? In this time, there is no establishment, and I don't like the establishment, but cars need brakes, right? So since there's no brakes in the car, he's gonna screw up the economy as he's doing now. He's gonna screw up foreign policy as he's doing now, and then people are gonna get super frustrated. And they didn't vote for this kind of madness, right? And then they're gonna come back and go, wait, he took $5.5 billion from the Saudis? When people were taking money from Israel, we had a whole bunch of excuses. Oh, our special ally, the most moral army, whatever. I mean, they're nonsense, but mainstream media has been doing that propaganda for so long that a lot of people believe it. But when you go, no, the Saudis are actually good guys, America's gonna go, bruv, Right? Like, really? You're gonna sell me on how the Saudi dictator who chopped up the Washington Post reporter is golden-hearted, and that's why he just wanted to give Trump billions of dollars for nothing? And how about the guy who was being investigated by the SEC and put $75 million into Trump's media company? A totally, utterly worthless media company. To give you a sense of how ridiculous their valuations and all that stuff is, this isn't even the meme coin. The meme coin is like, this is nothing. This is a piece of paper. Now give me $1 billion. People are like, yeah, sure, here you go, right? But the media company puts $75 million in. If that media company is worth what it's worth, then the Young Turks is worth close to $1 trillion. Like vis-a-vis the view count, the revenue, all of those things. Come on, guys, this is insanity. It's just out and out corruption. Just so when like left wing can get quite mad, sometimes we have a tiny amount of power, but watch out when the right wing gets mad, right? And I know now I'm going crazy. Right wing's gonna get mad at Trump. It's not gonna happen tomorrow, but a year and a half in, 2.5, 3.5, and somebody's gonna turn back around and go, wait a minute, how much did the Saudis give you? And what did they give it to you for? Oh, this brother's gonna get caught in a terrible way because he thinks there's no rules left. They tried to prosecute him, they couldn't prosecute him. He's been above the law his whole life. So he's thinking, so what? You know what, I'll hang a goddamn sign saying, this is an auction. Give me money, I will give you US foreign policy. And he thinks he can get away with it. And for now, he would get away with it. 2.5 years from now, let's find out. All right, what do you think, Yes?
Yeah, it will be interesting, and I know that none of us can wait for that day whenever it finally comes. We've been waiting for a long time, even before he was president, right? But I mean, they don't call him Teflon done for nothing because there's always a loophole, there's always a scapegoat, or it's just no recourse, right? And people who live lives without any kind of recourse, they are different people. They think differently than the rest of us. They operate, they make decisions differently than the rest of us, right? There's no one to hold him accountable right now. The Supreme Court gave him nearly king-like protections, and then they wondered why he doesn't honor their rulings. Like, it makes no sense. And I hate to generalize, but as far as why his base still stands behind him, why he still has support, the thing is, again, I don't want to generalize, but the thing with his base is that, like, the most MAGA of them, they really just don't have the morals and the values that they pretend to have. And like, I know they don't, because those things are felt on principle, and principles are largely, if not completely, static, right? It's not a principle if you care about it when someone you don't like does it, but you don't mind it if it's your guy. So they don't actually care about government officials enriching themselves in ways like this, unless it's Trump. So that's not a principle. Trump is a con man, and these are the same people who have celebrated his genius, right? In running cons, oftentimes on them. They're the ones that he's conning, right? But when capital is king in this country, which it is, corruption becomes justified. Not only that, but it's celebrated, right? All they see is that Trump is winning at capitalism, and they're here to support that because, I don't know, they want to get on his good side or something.
Yeah, the entire thing is just wild. And it makes it even funnier that Dinesh D'Souza went to prison for violence. Like, you could have just handed him $1 billion in full public view, and you found like the one way that could get you locked up. What a dink. But anyway, just really fast to remind you of some of the other corruption. We don't have time to break into all of this, but his own personal meme coin, so we talked about his platform. Now his meme coin surged more than 60% last week after he advertised that the top coin holders would get an intimate private dinner, which he hasn't even had with Melania for years, as well as a White House tour. So now he is pimping out his house, the president's house, as a reward for you buying his meme coin. His son, of course, they launched this exclusive DC club that's gonna make them millions and millions of dollars just because they're advertising it as, hey, you can hang out with Trump officials. So again, utterly corrupt personal profit off of this. Dominari Holdings is a small public financial services company that Don Jr. and Eric Trump joined the advisory board of. They got stake worth millions of dollars, and the stock price went up 1,200% in 6 weeks. I guess because they're really good at investments, I suppose. And he's also, Don Jr. is also on the board of a digital firearms retailer called Grab-A-Gun that's due to go public this summer. Again, cashing in on his name, his proximity to Donald Trump. There's 19 foreign Trump branded projects in development over the next 4 years. The golf course thing is just one. Again, maybe I'm hyperbolic, maybe I have Trump derangement syndrome. If you added up all of the corruption in the history of American politics, all of it, I don't think it matches what Donald Trump and his family are doing this term alone.
No, I don't think that's hyperbolic at all. Last two quick things for me. One, look, I understand what you're saying, Yaz, about MAGA and principles and stuff. I have said it 100 times, I hear you. On the other hand, I don't love blaming the voters because they're all getting misled by the media that they're watching. And does our side do it too? Well, I remember our moderate friends on the Democratic side who told us that Biden and Kamala Harris's Israel policy was perfectly fine because it wasn't Trump. No, these principles matter. They were wrong. Trump is even more wrong on Israel, but you got to be able to call out your own side. So we've also had issues with that. And I'm curious to see what percentage of Trump voters will say, yeah, I said drain the swamp, and this is filling the swamp with Saudi and Qatari money, and I'm not interested in it. We don't know yet, we'll see. And we should hold all of them accountable. We should hold every politician accountable and leaders accountable. And then I promise you guys, why is Saudi Arabia and Qatar putting so much money into Trump? That's what I'm most worried about. Guys, there's one thing that his three major foreign government donors agree with, right? And want, most of all from America. The three major donors are Israel, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. And they all have the common enemy, Iran. They all want us to attack Iran and fight that war on behalf of them. So buckle up, brace for impact. And that's why, guys, the right wing said they were anti-war. We need to put them to the test, but not in a ha-ha taunting way, but in like Marjorie Taylor Greene just did it today, and then I replied to her, she replied to me on X, right? Saying, yes, let's work together to make sure we do not go to war with Iran. Now, she's not gonna agree that Donald Trump is corrupt, and I'm not gonna agree to any of her other policies. But we all have to get together and say, no, I don't care how much Qatar wants us to go die in Iran on their behalf. I'm not Qatari royalty. I'm not a Saudi prince. I'm not a terrorist like Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't care about how you want us to die for you and to spend trillions of dollars fighting your wars because you bribed our president. No thank you to all three of those countries. So no war with Iran. The most important thing is, look, is he ever gonna be held accountable? We don't know. And he hasn't been held accountable his whole life, as we just discussed. But even more important than that is the bribe can't work. If it works and Trump makes us go fight their war, that is the biggest disaster of all. And that is where we all need to unite as a country. Every time you